Welcome everybody to the Real Estate Show. We are on podcast number 11, and I am Cherise Selley, and with me is the amazing and beautiful Judy Steenland with our group. And boy, we have definitely had a run in this market still since our last podcast. And as we shoot this one, we are in the month of June, and we continue to still see some momentum, although I will say as we hit mid-June, I'm noticing a small decrease in the amount of showings that we're getting in our new listings. So when we were, putting up properties and expecting maybe 30 or 40 showings, I was surprised because I put up a listing in the even below the median price point. And we had only a few showing requests the first day, but the second day it definitely has picked up. So today we're in day 3. We'll see where it goes from here because it's getting good.
Right. The crazy thing is, we're surprised that it didn't go day 1 and, or that we're on day 3. That's crazy, right?
Yes. So there's a tiny bit right now, and it could be, it's not unusual for June to have a little bit of a slowdown. Like we kind of hit this time seasonally, normally in the market where it does slow down a bit, even up through like that July 4th time frame, and then it picks up again.
Right. Well, everyone's out enjoying this beautiful Colorado weather, right?
Oh, on.
It's outdoor season here, and
yes,
that's why there are no VRBOs or rental cars available.
You actually talk about rental cars. Didn't you become the rental car service?
I was the Uber service, and that's okay. I was happy to do it, but there were 0 cars available in Colorado Springs for clients that were flying in to come look at homes.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. And, again, happy to do it, but for them, it really limits them on their ability to get around. And so,
yes.
So there are some alternatives now that people are starting to use. What's the new one? Like it's the VRBO for cars.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't even know that website, but
yeah.
I better
like
learn
Turo. Yeah.
So that's where people are going. And let's talk a little bit about the May stats, because we can just say that the market here, as well as the nation, for most of the nation, we're still seeing a perpetual increase in pricing.
Yes.
That's no surprise to anybody, I'm sure. But what I'm seeing as a trend in here, Colorado Springs, is about an $8,000 increase month over month. So the average price for May 2021 is now at $489,526. So we're almost at that $500,000 mark for the average price. And then the median is at $432,995. So a year ago, it was only $372,416 for the average price, and the median was $329,250. That makes it a total of about 24%, a little over 24% over in pricing since last year.
Yeah, it's a huge jump, and it's really we're seeing all kinds of residual challenges, don't you think, now in the market?
Yes.
Like the rental inventory, the cost of apartments, just the other challenges that come from people not being able to get into homes.
You're right, and people do need to have their backup, kind of their midterm, I should say, plan going as they wait to find something. The total active listings are still down. They're down, if you can believe this, at 47.8% since last year. So we have higher pricing, almost 50% less inventory than we did last year, which was still like record low inventory.
Right.
And so it's, I think, continuously as we talk about this, it's a supply and demand issue still. Yeah,
not a COVID issue. It's a supply and demand issue. And we go back to even the challenges in the new construction market is bringing a lot of challenges to the housing market because we just don't have enough new construction.
Yes, that's right. So, we know the problems, we know where the market is, but the interesting thing with a little bit of a softening, it might actually be a window as we go into these months of later June and July for buyers to maybe not be up against 14 offers. They might be up against 2 or 3.
Right.
But there actually may be a window of opportunity that they haven't seen while interest rates are still low. and before inflation kicks interest rates up higher.
Right. And we've talked about it in some previous conversations about while they're on the sidelines, what can they do to be prepping? And right now it's saving the cash,
Amen.
Removing all obstacles that might be a condition in their offer.
Yes.
Just a clean offer is what they need to be prepared for.
Cash is king, isn't it?
That's right.
Bringing appraisal difference is king.
Yeah, because for our young millennials and those that are entering into the market, real estate is the way that they start building wealth. I mean,
Yes.
if they're buying a home today and they gain 50 to 100,000 over the next few years, where else would they do that?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
So
Nowhere.
it's still worth staying in the game.
It is. It's worth fighting for it.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. You know, one thing that's interesting as I was looking at our stats is that the average days on the market increased a whopping 1 day.
Right. And you know what I feel about that whopping 1 day? It's because a lot of sellers and agents are holding the house on the market for those extra days. It's
They
not
are.
because they're not selling. It's because, hey, we want to show our house to get maximum exposure.
Yes.
So we're going to let it show for 2 days
Yes.
instead of 1 day.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Let's get and hold it so that we get all offers.
Yeah.
That's very frustrating to buyers, but please beware that you can expect that. And the other thing that buyers need to be prepared for is that even though a seller may have or an agent may list that a home will be responded to, maybe if it was listed on a Thursday, they'll respond by a Monday.
Right.
If they get an offer that they can't refuse, they're going to respond a lot of times sooner.
Right. They have the right to respond sooner.
It just
even if they
happened.
put it out there that they're going to show it all weekend.
Yes.
So
we went through that actually over this weekend.
Yeah.
And so I had an incredibly well-qualified buyer. She was willing to bring the full appraisal difference if it didn't appraise.
Yeah.
We went well over the list price, but we got beat out by a cash offer, and they decided to accept that on a Saturday instead of waiting until a Monday.
Right.
So it's
It's frustrating, and I think that's how we coach our clients is not to get emotionally attached to a property before it's a done deal.
That's
because
right.
we never know what's going to happen right now. It's very unpredictable.
But you got to make sure that you trust who you're working with in that storm of unpredictability.
Well, that's right. And knowing the data speaks volumes, right?
Yes.
And so if you tell somebody, hey, our market is on fire, we're going to sell this house over list, but we don't have the data to show, okay, what was the highest offer that's been, like, you can expect that this home may go for this amount, anywhere between this number and that number. And what was the highest amount that we've gotten on a listing?
Yes. So just within the last few weeks,
Yeah.
we closed out one. If you can believe this, Judy, I mean, I think you're still like going, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
27% over the list price on
Yeah.
the west side. So it was started at $495, which was far above the comps
Right.
for that neighborhood. And it sold at $628,100.
Yeah.
And I was representing the seller.
Yep.
They had never planned. And I have to say this, and this was the best feedback from my seller ever. They're like, we are so glad we didn't go FSBO.
Right.
Because if we did, we would have put it on Facebook Marketplace. We would have accepted a $500,000 offer. We would have
And thought they were doing good.
Yes.
Yeah.
They would have not known. They would have had no bandwidth to actually market it to the masses and hold the offers until we work through getting the very best one.
Right.
So
Right. Well, and don't you feel when buyers are making these offers, they're looking to us for guidance on what do you think I should offer? Mm-hmm. Well, if we don't show the data and we don't know how to analyze the data ourselves, they can't make an educated offer that puts them even in the running to maybe get that house. And so if we show a client, okay, this house went 27% over. This was an amazing house. And we show them the data, then they feel more confident in their offers.
That's right. They can make an informed decision.
That's right.
It takes kind of the guesswork out of it, even though we're still somewhat guessing. I mean, nobody knows where some of these homes are going to end up at, but there is objective information that will help them to put their best foot forward.
Right. And then there's no regrets. I made my best offer. That's what I was willing to pay. It was reasonable. And, well, actually, a lot of them are unreasonable right now. But at least they made the educated offer.
You know, that's what I love about you, Judy. You get people right in the center. You help them to just get outside of where maybe their market was or what their thinking was and into what we're experiencing here and now.
Yeah.
And that's the sign of an incredible agent.
Well, thank you, Cherie. I think it's important, too, to talk about how we researched some data about how many people were leaving the cities that they live in.
Yes.
And you sent me some information, and let's talk about that.
Quickly, we can, because, I think it's actually really interesting through COVID. This is like the COVID migration.
Right, that people are leaving their cities to go elsewhere.
New York, Texas, District of Columbia, North Carolina, California, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Minnesota, West Virginia, and Florida. Those are the biggest areas where people are moving out of since COVID. And so we're certainly not on that list. People are coming here.
I was going to say they're coming here.
But yes, we'll get to more exciting things. There's so much more to talk about. And I cannot wait to just hit it with you in our next podcast, Judy. This is such important information. And please stay tuned in, guys. This is relevant, real information that you need in order to make your best decisions in this market.
Thanks, Cherise.
We'll catch you next time.